Hello and welcome back, guys, to Break the Cycle.
What's up, everyone?
So we're back with our 5-minute chats, and what we wanted to start this episode with today is resistance from family, because that's been a theme for me lately, and I definitely experienced it.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things. I think I was your first form of resistance.
Yeah.
From family, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because I mean, we loved to go out to eat. We loved Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, we were there almost every night.
Yeah, every week. Yeah, sometimes every night. Yeah, it was bad.
And I would drink like 2 beers. So
yeah.
After I overcame the resistance within myself, there definitely was resistance with the family. But I think overall, just having that mentality that I was going to get it done no matter what is a little bit about what helped me. But we're going to talk about what Abraham's thoughts were when I told him, hey, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be working out. I'm going to be eating better.
Yeah. So I was obviously supportive. I helped Jen with everything that she wanted help with. The only thing I was resistance towards was the eating process, I guess. I just didn't like the fact that I had to change how I was eating too in order for things to be easier for Jen to do it too. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me to overcome was the dieting aspect of it. And
yeah, because I think the common misconceptions is what really fucks up a journey for everyone. Because for example, I was talking to our friend the other day, and she was like, well, I'm gonna go on this journey, and I heard that brown rice is better. And it takes so much longer to make, and brown rice actually has no more benefits than white rice. I think the only biggest difference is that it has more fiber, and it's actually a little bit more difficult for you to digest because of the fiber. So honestly, white rice is the number one for me. It's so easy to make. We make it in 2 minutes. But I think that's what we faced resistance on, is just the common misconceptions. I fell for it. So I thought I had to do things a very specific way.
Yeah.
But I think what helped us the most is, number one, he started to help me with making dinner.
Yeah, so man, this is for you. No, but for real, this is for you. Learn how to do something in the fucking kitchen, dude. You're a man. We're the fucking grill master. The grill master is the king at the party, the king at everywhere. Everyone does everything for the grill master, and that's the man's job, you know what I'm saying? And I actually learned how to grill from her mom. So that was the craziest thing, right? Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that? But yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing is just men, we have to help our women because they are the women, and theoretically speaking, they do need to be in the kitchen, but no, they don't. We can assist and we can help out in a lot of these things too. And I think that's what really made it easier for the family to fall in line, because everyone was resistant towards mom. Mm-hmm. But the moment that I started to be, a bit of a asshole towards the kids about certain things, it made it easier for the whole family to just be all right, this is the way we're doing shit. We're not switching shit for nobody, and everyone's just gonna have to eat this.
Yeah, and honestly, we're not crazy. We didn't even start off crazy, because we were we told ourselves at the beginning that we were only going to, because we were obsessed with Chipotle for some time, right? And we're okay, so if we're gonna do this, we can only have Chipotle twice a week. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's we started off with certain limitations. We were still having the food that we loved. We still had one night where we would get either burgers, tacos, just the most
something fun,
scrumptious stuff.
Yeah. The best shit
at that time. And that's where we started with the limitations. But honestly, making dinner got so easy when we just started breaking down certain things. And then we would make enough dinner to have for lunch. So literally, we just had dinner and lunch for the longest time, and that's been what's worked the most for us.
Yep.
And then I also think that him grilling and learning how to oven bake as well, and using the air fryer and all of that, he loves to make food now.
Yep.
And he loves his own food, and he takes
thing.
pride in it.
Yes.
So it's just it's something that I was able to take off my shoulders, put it on his, and I was able to devote love to the sides.
Yeah. Yeah, because the sides are awesome, but obviously if the protein ain't there, then you can sprinkle a little bit of salt and salsa on the freaking sides and you're Gucci, but it takes a lot to fix a steak. with tapatio and shit like that. So
yeah. Literally in the beginning, like when we sucked at making stuff, it's like let's put on a bunch of tapatio.
Yeah, for real, huh?
But and it's honestly practice is what really puts in like putting in the reps of like cooking at home. If you guys don't cook at home as often, putting in the reps as much as possible is what gets you there. Like there's no perfection, there's no, and like honestly your food ends up tasting better for you, and you don't have to wait in line or wait for it to be delivered. So biggest thing, like going back to like the purpose of this podcast today is like facing resistance if you're starting a journey, whether you're a woman or a man, whatever. And if you have a partner and kids, I think it's the best to come forward to them, explain to them your purpose and why are you doing this? And like what other tip would you give?
If just don't be so resistant to if you're a guy, because we tend to be a little more closed-minded about shit. But just don't be so resistant, because eventually you want your health to impact your children. And I think that's what hit me the most is like, do I want my kids to be healthy when they get older? And it's like, the answer is obviously yes. And it fucking sucked when I had to look at myself and be like, dude, you're eating like shit. You work out, but you eat like shit. And just because you work out doesn't mean you're healthy. Like I was telling her about a bodybuilder who was a world-class bodybuilder, but he's had 4 triple bypass surgeries in his heart because he kept eating McDonald's. Like, that is shit, dude. And you know, you need to change that, because your children are going to follow in your footsteps, and I don't want my children to have the health defects that a lot of the older people in our society do. And the way that we were actually headed that way too.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah, and it affected a lot our older son, because he was starting to gain a lot of weight with me, and he started to look very inflamed in the face. And since he was able to kind of eat with us, because I think we just made it easier, because one, we made dinner time, family time too. So put away the phones, do all of that good stuff, and it created a lot of bonding within us. I know this is a little bit longer. I'm just one more minute. And his like clarity, his mind functioning has improved so much.
Yeah, he's very perceptive. Very perceptive.
I'm
about
like
everything.
about to cry.
Almost. Yeah.
He out of all of us that have, you know, improved in our health and whatnot, I think he's been the best case in this entire family. Yeah,
he's had a lot of things to overcome, because he had a lot of processed foods that we'd give him all the time, and they're very addicting and they're really hard to wean off of. And I think what really helped out us the most was the fact that we started making Chipotle bowls at home. So like we would just change the type, like we would make red rice, black beans, and then a protein like a chicken or a steak, and then it would be white rice, pinto beans, and then a protein like chicken or steak or ground meat. So
and we use canned beans.
Yeah, canned beans too.
Special.
Yeah, we're not special either.
And like coming off of that, we're almost done. Literally just finding the things that they like, I just found healthier recipes for everything and really started to imitate the foods that they love in order to make it better for them. So honestly, I think that's the other thing is like if you have picky kids, it's really just like it takes a little bit of research. Like you just Google it, like healthy recipe for blah blah blah. You start to recognize certain things and certain replacement substitutes that you can do for certain foods. And I just find that if you cook at home, you just have more control. So sometimes it's about time, sometimes it's about you know, experience. I wasn't the greatest cook. I made hard rice before. I used to suck at rice. I used to suck at protein. I was not a cook.
Same. And I think that's one thing that we both had in common, is that we sucked at cooking.
Yeah. So like going back to what he said is definitely be open-minded to the process, and notice when you're telling yourself like this is too hard, I don't want to do this, or it's too much. Like that's just an excuse coming up for you, and in order to start tackling things, you just have to start facing those excuses.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. They call it turning off your bitch voice. So.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. But that wraps up the Jen and Ape talk. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.